Alright, this is just a little bit about how to do the data analysis of your pretest using on SchoolNet. And what I've done here, all I've done is just kind of made them where they're side by side. The first thing you've got to do is the data analysis, and that's this. When you're just going to look through your pretest, and you're going to be able to pick out the numbers. For example, on this one, you look at number one. It gives you the standard, and then from there, you look at the numbers. The following 2, 3, 4, and 9, those are all from this standard. So what you're going to do, you go back to your pretest and look at numbers 2, 3, 4, and 9, and how many of those did you get right? In other words, you're going to pick, say, for example, on this one, say I got two of the four right. Now here, what I'm going to do, and all I did is double click right above, and see there. Now I want to make sure the little flashing thing is inside the box. Now, before you may have to push it up and down. So if I get two of the four right, I just put a 2, and I go out here and click, and that makes that 2/4. And then I have to figure out, well, what's the percent of questions that I got right. Well, in this case, 2/4 is 50%. So I can go and put 50%. And I'm going to just continue this on down all the way through. But I'll do another one. For example, I look at the next set of questions, the standard right here, and then here are the questions that go with it: 1, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Well, out of those 5 questions, let's say, for example, if I got 4 of them right. Again, I'm going to double click right above, and then I push up to get it up there. I got 4 of the 5 right. Well, to figure out what my percentage is, divide by 5, and that gives me 0.8. Well, in that case, when I move my decimal over, I got 80%. So now, I'm going to continue that all the way through, just looking at the numbers. You can tell the standard and the amount of numbers, and then just continue doing the amount you got right out of how many total, and then figuring out the percent. Once you have done that for all of the sections, then on this one, this is where your other one comes into play. And I'm going to go back up here to my percentages, because right here is going to determine how much work I have to do per standard. Okay, on this one, when I look at the first one, the process, it says 1 through 9, but I look, here's my standard here. Well, I look over here, here's the questions that go with the standard. There's 4 of the questions there. So I look at my percent. If my percent is above 75%, all I have to do is the practice probe and then do the corrections. And this is the code that goes with that practice probe right beside it. If I scored below 75%, which in this case I did, so I have to look and I do the brain pop, which is distance, rate, and time. When you finish it, you will write your score right here. For example, say if I got a 90, I'm going to put 90 right there, and I know that's my score. On brain pops, I would also, if you want, you can email it to me at the end, but it's very important that you put your score here on all of them. So, and then once I do that, then obviously I have to do the practice probe. When I finish the practice probe, I do the corrections. I'll turn the corrections in, but then say on the practice probe, for example, I said, okay, I got 100. And you obviously you'll see your score, as soon as you're done. So you want to make sure you're keeping a record of everything, because you're going to turn these in to me digitally every so often. I'm going to check on how you're doing. So now, like on the second one, I look at, okay, 1, 3. Well, I did that. I've got an 80%. Well, it says here, if you scored below 80%, complete Area 2. It could be all the assignments. On this one, I happen to get an 80. Well, an 80, that keeps me from having to do all of the assignments. So if I score above an 80, all I have to do again is my practice probe. Again, I say I did it. I scored a 90. That means I probably missed one, and that means I need to do the corrections. And that's what I will do, and I will turn the corrections in. And I'll just continue on all the way down with each standard. Again, you can look at the standards 2.1, 2.1, or 2.1 there, and it just goes back and forth all the way through. You do have to do this digitally, so and you'll turn in. Like I said, I'll have a turn-in date sometime next week for your progress. You won't have it all done by next week. This is going to be something that takes us some time. I'm just going to check your progress every few days. But if you have any questions, make sure you use Schoology, message me, and I can answer that as we go through.